Hello and welcome to the Atlantic Ambition Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Barrett MacDonald. I'm joined today by Valerie Connell, owner of Exit Realty. Valerie, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to get things kicked off with a little bit about who you are and what got you started on your entrepreneurial journey?
Oh wow. Well, I'm a Newfoundlander and I moved here 30 years ago and ended up being somewhat of a single parent, bouncing kids, and had to find a career that would let me parent and make enough money to raise my kids, and that's how I became a realtor. And it's just been kind of up since then.
Right, absolutely. And what made you want to kind of make the jump from being a realtor to owning that franchise?
Oh, well, you always think you can do it better than your boss.
Yep.
That was the naive me. And I'd say for sure, I never thought it through when I made the jump. But anyway, had to sink or
But
swim. Yeah,
exactly. Learn
yeah,
how to swim the deep end sometimes, right? Which is good.
yeah,
And I'd say, yeah, you're about 98% accurate that most business owners thought they could do it better than their boss, right?
yeah.
Uh, which kind of like runs to my first question is what are some of the common misconceptions that you've come across about owning a business for the first time and over the years? And what do you do to kind of combat them?
Oh, I think the biggest misconception is that you have lots of time and lots of money, and so you can make decisions that are selfish. And it's totally the opposite, especially when you're starting, you have no money and no time because you don't know how to delegate, you're doing everything yourself. And so, I started with coaching, um, receiving coaching early on, and that really saved everything.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So when you think back, if you had to start all over again from scratch, what would you do differently the next time around?
Oh, I would have, well, hindsight's 2020. For sure, I would have aimed higher earlier. It's
Okay.
easier to be bigger, and to be bigger, you have to delegate. So I would have uh, I would have been coached on delegation really early on. And I definitely would
That's
have
awesome.
aimed higher, bigger. Yeah,
Which is good. So
yeah.
when you think about that coaching and delegation, so what would have been some of your biggest learnings as an employer and being responsible for other people's livelihoods since you began a business?
Oh my goodness. I'm just thinking of some of the mistakes I made. I won't say I have a graveyard of past employees, but and I have to take full responsibility for that because of bad hires. I didn't even know how to really uh, ask for what I needed, and hence you hire the wrong people, and you hire probably friends or your family, and that really is a recipe for uh, not good things generally.
Okay.
That was a big learning curve, the whole hiring the right people.
Absolutely. So now that you've kind of got that formula worked on, not necessarily
Hmm.
perfected, because I don't know if anyone really ever does,
Now,
what qualities do you now look for in your employees and what do you do about fostering that growth and positive work environment?
uh, so I guess in my world, our independent contractors employees. So we have 50 independent contractors and 5 admin, and the admin are great. I look for people who are willing to do and learn whatever needs to be done. Uh, with the independent contractors and people who are starting into real estate brand new, and most all of our people started from zero. Um, I think you try to communicate to people when they're in front of you, the emotional roller coaster of sales, uh, and so that's what I'm looking for. Probably people who are not anxiety prone. You know what I mean? You have to
Hmm.
know how to handle anxiety, and you can certainly learn that. I think like all, I think when people choose a realtor, they are looking for a leader. They're looking for somebody to take control of the purchase or of the sale and guide them. And so you're looking for people who are willing to learn how to become leaders, um, how to look at personalities and mirror people, because you have to sell people the way they want to be sold. And so,
Right,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic insight and everything. So thank you for sharing that. So when you think about the growth you've had over the last period of time, what do you attribute like your growth to as a realtor and being able to kind of climb those sales numbers and handle more traffic and everything as it comes to you?
Oh, um, well, failure was never an option. So, and many times I probably should have quit, but I didn't. And I would say and I'm not trying to, I don't know the phrase I'm looking for, but definitely I had to be coached. I couldn't.
Okay.
You can't go from that, where I was, um, which was a housewife learning to sell real estate, um, to where I am, which is 5 offices and 50 realtors. uh, somebody has to help you and share their knowledge, and that happened. I had to pay for it,
Yeah,
but you got to invest in yourself, and I would say that's another quality I look for in realtors: people willing to invest in themselves.
absolutely. Sometimes you need that outside perspective, right? And
Yeah,
someone that's going to tell you the thing you need to hear, not the thing that you want to hear.
yeah,
In that scenario. And
yeah.
it's funny, business ownership is one of the loneliest things people can do because you don't
No
really have
kidding.
someone to talk to, right? And
No,
a
and
therapist
you're
is gonna pull things a different way, but a coach is gonna do it in a different way
yes,
as well.
because your peers are your competitors generally, and they're not going to help you. You can't call them.
Yeah.
So yeah, yes,
Yeah, you're gonna call the selling agent when you're trying to do a purchase and be like, "Oh, I'm having difficulty
yeah,
with this." They're
yeah,
gonna be like, "All right, weakness. I'm coming in for that contract
yeah.
now," which is good. So, over the years, I'm sure you've had different busy spurts and struggles with trying to balance personal life and the demands of running a business. So, what are some of those tricks that you've used and developed to kind of create the freedoms that you might have today?
Oh, well, thank heavens for technology because you can work from anywhere and people don't know where you are. So, you know,
Right.
it's a beautiful thing. And it's not how when I started this, we had to drive to everybody's house and get signatures and faxes came in on the old scroll.
Hmm.
And so technology is a wonderful thing. Digital signing, those kind of things. I'm digressing from your question a bit.
Nope,
Tell
nope,
me,
you're nailing it. Just
okay.
how do you, what are some of the tricks you use to balance like having a personal life and the demands of running a business and you're headed on that topic perfectly.
Well, I think I had 2 key coaches, and the second one really um, inspired me to make a business that ran without me. And so I had to look at everybody's role and what needed to be done, and have an organizational chart, and say, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Everybody has a binder of to-dos, and so really anybody can step in and pretty much take over any role.
Right.
Otherwise, one person leaves and you crash, right? So yeah,
Yeah, so setting up systems has worked really well for you.
yes,
And then it's yeah, if you put there's a saying, it's like process over people, and it doesn't mean that you don't care about the people. It's that if it's process driven, then you have the ability to care for the person.
yeah,
But if it's people driven, then you're having to micromanage and do all of the things you don't necessarily want to do
yes,
that can be time consuming. So
yeah.
um, that makes total sense to me, and I'm sure it does to a bunch of our listeners and watchers.
And when the systems aren't there, I mean, I think that probably me or the person in charge is the first person to break down, because you're there at 2 a.m. or you're at home getting up at 4 to try and stay ahead of all the things that need to be done. And there's no energy left for anything. You can't notice what anybody's doing or who had what child last week, or there's no
Yeah.
personal relationships because there's nothing left. Yeah,
Right, exactly. You
yeah,
become a shell, right? And
yeah.
you're tied to your technology and your phone where it's envious to be able to shut your phone off at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and not turn it on until Monday morning, right? Which makes sense. We have people in our system that are like, oh, I love taking vacations. I just take my laptop and go sit on a beach and continue to
Yeah,
work. And it's like, no, you're just
that's
exchanging a backdrop then.
yes, you're
It's
getting a
not a real
tan while you work.
vacation. Yeah, exactly. Which isn't the same thing. So that's awesome. So kind of my wrap up question here, Valerie, and you've been so great today, is for someone who's watching online and thinking about jumping into the entrepreneurial world, what's a solid piece of advice that you have for them?
Oh, I think there's no good day. I think you just do it, and you learn as you go. Hindsight is always 2020. I was 37 years old before I even got a real estate license. So, you know, if you're younger than that, you have way more time than me. Um, I just think do it, and just start. Be open to learning. Get people in the industry you're going in to coach you. Um, yeah, that's my advice. Coach.
That's awesome, Valerie.
Yeah, receive coaching. Be coachable. Be coachable. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. So thank you for your time today, and to everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.
Hey, thank you. Bye.
Thanks.